Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to the Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. So this time, we're going to take a little look at the Teen Titans. Now, usually, anymore, when you hear the Teen Titans or the Titans, you think Nightwing, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, maybe Cyborg, depending on, stuff like that. Well, those aren't the real Teen Titans, doggone it. This is... I want to take a little look at the real Teen Titans. Of course, here, this is a reprint from a Teen Titans annual that I recently picked up. But this is reprinting the Titans from the 60s with art by Nick Cardy. And then we had a little flashback here with those Titans here in this issue of Teen Titans Spotlight on the Teen Titans, number 21 from 1988. And it's titled Stuck in the 60s. So, okay. Teen Titans Spotlight, number 21 from 1988. Written by Charmin Devond and Mark Evenier, with art by Dan Speigle. And of course, Mark Evenier and Dan Speigle had a working relationship. They it worked fine worked together on at I think it's Eclipse Comics on Crossfire character, and even on. I think Mark Evenier did some of the writing on Blackhawk, but Dan Speigle did the artwork for quite a while on Blackhawk in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, about the time that Gold Key went away, which was his main primary employer at that time. Okay, Teen Titans Spotlight was published by DC Comics from 86 to 88, had a total of 21 issues, so this is the last issue. And this title featured single-issue stories focusing on various individual characters from the Teen Titans. And remember, at that time, the new Titans were the Teen Titans, until they later. And the Teen Titans are an American superhero team published by DC Comics, and this team was originally composed of characters who were the teen sidekicks to some of the major characters who appeared in the Justice League of America. In a later iteration of the Teen Titans, original teen characters became members. That's like Starfire and Raven and Cyborg, those. Then the teen was dropped when many of the characters aged out of their teens. And that's part of the reasons why they later have Young Justice, because the Teen Titans were too old for teens anymore. And they first appeared in The Brave and the Bold, number 54 in 1964, created by Bob Haney and Bruno Premiani. In the original title, ran from 66 to 78 for 53 issues. Yeah. And those were the original Teen Titans. Okay, but here, in this one, it's called Stuck in the 60s, and it's a story featuring the earlier version of the Titans. It does not take place, at least with the Titans, in the 60s. It's called Stuck in the 60s because there's a character from the 60s in here, and the 60s play a big part of the overall plot. And actually, the Titans themselves are not there all that much. The main character of the story is this guy here, long-haired hippie freak with a gun yelling, "Peace, man!" But we'll see why. And I think one of the reasons why maybe Dan Speigle drew this particular one. Of course, he may have been drawing the previous issues. I don't know. I don't have any of those, so I don't know. But may have been simply because his style is very reminiscent of the style of Nick Carty, who was the primary Teen Titans artist in the 60s. So here we have the Teen Titans Spotlight. And it's because the issue is from 1988, but it takes place a few years before. In the context of the story, they say it's 16 years after Woodstock, which is in 69, which makes the time period that this took place in 1985. so this was supposed to be before the Titans reformed. Trying to say Teen Titans all in one word. The Titans. Okay, here we go. Teen Titans. They're in Gotham City, somewhere in downtown. They're going to the health club. Aqualad is going to the YMCA pool because he needs to get wet because he's losing his umph. The others go in. They apparently go there fairly often because they know the guy at the counter. They talk with him a little bit. Kid Flash. Now this is the thing with Kid Flash, Wally West version. Of course, this is long before he took on the mantle of the Flash himself at the death of Barry Allen. But I like this costume the best. I always liked this Kid Flash costume. I know some people think it sucks, but I liked it. And he notices that this kid that they're talking, looks kind of nervous. So they're working out. The kid has to close up. He has to go. So okay, and thinking pretty soon. So they're finishing up, listening to 60s music, and then then things flash to this old hippie. At this point, we don't know that, but he is in prison, in his prison cell, and he's flashing back, and this is where we get the title, Stuck in the 60s, or Woodstock Ain't Nothing But a Bird. and it takes place at Woodstock. Yeah, and that's him, the long-haired hippie freak there. Of course, there are a lot of long-haired hippie freaks in this part, and he's with a bunch of friends, and they're just talking. Then they're saying, get the announcement that at this point, from this point on, see, it's about to start raining here, and at this point on, we've gone long enough. It's a free show, so that means that anybody can come and go for free. They didn't need the tickets because it's like mostly over. So, and that's when the guy says, the guy with the dark hair, he says, okay, now's the time. And it turns out, here they go. This is at the gate, the ticket gate, which is closed down because people just walking and going. They got all the money. They're waiting for the armored car to show up to take the money. And the girl in the group says, stark naked, "Hey, help! He said, someone stole my clothes." So the guy, being a gentleman, rushes out, takes his jacket off to cover her up, and one of the guys grabs him, sticks a gun in his face, and the other guy goes for his gun, but he gets shot. It was, come on, no one's supposed to get hurt. No one's supposed to get shot, and they beat the other guy senseless, grab all the money, and they run out to their hippie van, and they get caught in all the traffic trying to get out of there. And they're screaming and yelling at each other. And then the cops show up, and it's the rain is downpour. It does a good job depicting the rain, especially later. And they hoof it, but this guy, the one that they called Uncle Sam, he got snagged. And he wound up being in prison for 16 years. Here he is in prison. He's just about to get out, and he's lamenting the 16 years in prison for that job he didn't get nothing for. And so then we're back to the Titans. The guy's locking up at the health club, and they're noticing he's pretty nervous. So they kind of secretly follow him, and it turns out he's out to buy some drugs, because he's trying to cram for some tests. And he needs to stay awake, so he's getting some drugs. But he's all... So they followed him. They see the guy. He said, he ain't got the money for it. Said, what's this? And if he ain't got the money, and he's going to beat the crap out of the kid. But the Titans rush in. They stop him. Put the kibosh on him. But he gets... Ultimately, they let him go. And because they have to take the kid to the hospital, because he is having severe health problems due to his drug use. And so they say, what are we going to do? So they come up with an idea. We'll see that later. Here we are back with our long-haired hippie freak guy. A few days later, he's out of prison, and he's got him a crappy little job somewhere, but he's out of prison. He's doing some painting, and the lady, he's supposed to help this one of the maintenance people, and he is surprised that the maintenance person is a woman, and he acts terribly towards her, because he said, "Oh, hey, chick, hey, little sister," and then he swats her on the backside, and she teaches him not to do that crap no more. He can't get away with that kind of crap anymore. Then he's eating lunch in a fast food cafe, and he's overhearing a couple talking about their stuff, their problems, and he butts in and says, "Hell no, we won't go," blah blah, talking about political stuff and everything at the time, and they think he's nuts and take off. So he needs some help. So he looks up one of his buddies who got away from that job. Goes to see him. It turns out this guy is now a best-selling author, and he is loaded. He goes to see the guy, and turns out he lost his legs in Vietnam. He was to get away from and hide from the cops. He joined the army and volunteered to go to Vietnam, where he was wounded, and so he has written since then. He's written a variety of books, and it turns out that the girl that was in their group that helped him, who was the one who went naked to distract the guards, is now an attorney, and so he's back out on the street, and and here you can see the way. Speigle, he did a great job here, giving the streets and everything the wet look, and a good job on the rain. And the guy is just lamenting, "Oh, I don't know if I can handle this world. It's not like in the '60s." And then he's surprised when he sees one of the old Woodstock album on sale for $125. Jeez, it's because it's a collector's item. Oh my gosh! So then we're back with the Titans, but they're undercover with the goon, who doesn't recognize them now, that had attacked their buddy, who had been selling drugs. They're wanting to get into the undercover, wanting to meet the boss and get some work, because they want to sell drugs at their school, stuff like that. So he said, "Oh, I gotta wait." And then of course they're playing music from the '60s on the jukebox at this Chinese restaurant, and he's in the back. He's taking care of business. He'll get to you when he gets to you. And then comes our long-haired hippie freak Uncle Sam comes in, unplugs the thing, and he chastises the punk kid. And I was, uh-oh. And then the boss man comes out front. Turns out he was one of the other long-haired hippie freaks involved in the crime at Woodstock, and now he is a big crime boss. And said, "We got a job to go. You kids sit here tight. We got to go take care of some business." And he, out of the supposed goodness of it, for old time's sake, he takes Uncle Sam along with him, going to get him a spot in this thing. Meanwhile, Aqualad is getting pretty nervous because he's been out of water a long time. And he gets in a little vocal confrontation with one of the punk kids there, and he says, comes down to you ain't got the cojones. Can you do this? And they have live eels in here for some of their meals and stuff, and because they select the eels and cook them and all that stuff. So, but he sticks his head in the tank with all the eels, and to show something that says, you got the cojones to do this, sticks his head in there. Oh, it's like a breath of fresh air for him. But while he's in there, he gets does a little bit of telepathic communicating with the eels, pops his head back out, and says, okay, so we're going to take off. He got some info from the eels, stuff that, it's in their memory that they had seen and overheard, but they don't know what the hell, what it means. So they're going to this place because they're going to go shake down this such and such a guy someplace. So they rush there. They knows right where it is, and they go. And there's the big boss shaking down this guy who's owns a little jewelry store, and the other guys are outside front. They're not there to rob the place. They're just shaking him down for business reasons. But in the process, Uncle Sam, he sits there and he pulls his gun and he blasts the jewelry displays with his .45. And go, what the heck? Which sets off the alarms. Oh, that's when the Titans bust in, catch the guys, and Aqualad grabs it, or goes after the Uncle Sam, flashes her, whipping everybody up, and then Wonder Girl takes the gun away from Uncle Sam and goes, oh, thank goodness. Says, take me home. He did. So there they are at a cafe, and they're talking about the thing, listening to the news report, and there is Uncle Sam back in prison, right where he wanted to go, because he could not deal with he was so stuck in the 60s, he could not deal with 1980s world. That's why he did that, so he could go back to jail. And I thought that was a really, really good story, even though the Titans were not front and center. They were more secondary characters in the story. I think it was a really, really good story. Imagine how it would be now. And it's one of the few story, comics at the time that it's a one and done issue. But it's a lot of fun. I love Dan Speigle's artwork. It's very, very retro here. Of course, I always liked Dan Spiegel's work. I loved his work in it, and virtually everything he did that I've seen. But his style was so retro for these characters. So that's all I've got for you this time with the Teen Titans. So like, share, and subscribe, and do leave your comments down below. Tell me, am I all wet? Do these Teen Titans suck compared to the later new Teen Titans? What have you? Do you like this interpretation of the Titans? Do you not like them? Or maybe you just think this story sucks. It's not as silly as a lot of the 60s stories were. But you let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art. Peace, man.